Okay, so to start this series, I guess I should give you a little bit of a backstory, kind of on how the song came up, how the artist contacted me. So me and the artist go back. We've actually done several songs in the past, but she wanted to do another song and she hit me up and she had some references in mind. She wanted to kind of mix like the darkness and mystery of Taylor Swift's new album, but then she also wanted some hip hop elements and even like some R&B elements. She wanted it to have a lot of energy, but she also wanted it to still have like a low-key kind of vibe. So those were things that I definitely had to keep in mind when I was hopping into the project. And so the first thing that I did, and it's the first thing I do with every project, is I actually just pull up a piano and I just start with some chord progressions. So we'll hop into the DAW in a second and we'll kind of go over, you know, how I just established chord progressions. But before we do that, I did just kind of want to say that going into a track, it's really important to have some kind of end goal in mind. Because if you're just out there kind of creating with no sense of what the finished product should at least sound kind of like, you get sucked in a lot and you waste a lot of time in the studio. So if you're not in a rush and you're just trying to experiment and have fun, that's totally fine. But you know, if you've got a client on the line and you've got a deadline and a project, definitely put a little bit of time into actually thinking about the song before you actually just jump into the session and go wild. But without further ado, let's actually jump in and start coming up with a chord progression. Okay, so now that we're actually in Cubase, there are a couple things that I like to do when I'm starting with a chord progression. The first thing is going to be that I like to start with a piano. So I'll either write everything pretty much on a piano or a guitar just to get the initial idea. And the reason I do that is because if you strip a song back, I believe that a song at the most basic acoustic core should still be a good track. So that's why I'll normally always just write with piano or guitar, just to make sure that we've got some melodic ideas before we really start diving into, you know, the fancy sound design and all of the drums and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's just start kind of playing with chords. I've got just the mini grand piano up right here that just came with my synth just because it's super low on CPU, so we'll use that one for now. But yeah, let's go ahead and start playing with the chords. So going into this, I knew that I wanted to keep it kind of dark, and I knew that I was probably going to want to use a minor key. So I kind of just played around with some stuff, and you know, we had some of but that to me was just kind of like a little slow. It was a little bit sad, and honestly, it was a little bit boring. So then I started kind of playing around with like A minor. And I like those chords a lot, but it was just kind of dragging in terms of tempo because I was like, this is going to come across much more as like a ballad. And I like the darkness of the chords and I like the depth of the chords, but we definitely needed some sort of kind of movement and energy to it. So that's when I started kind of playing around with just the basic kind of progression ideas and kind of finding a tempo to it. So I started kind of playing around with that. And then the next thing I did was I was like, you know what, let me set a tempo to this. So I went to 160 just because that's a tempo where I think that you can still have some bounce and you can still have some groove, but it's not going to get overly fast and it's not going to get corny and cheesy real quick. So let's go ahead and turn on the metronome. All right, let's see right here. We've got So I really like that chord progression. I'll just go ahead and lay down some MIDI so we can start kind of dissecting the MIDI. Sorry, here we go. All right, so let's see what we've actually got going on right here. Let's go ahead and quantize this. So we've got A minor, C major, then I believe that is F major, and then G major. And then that's it. So let's just kind of take a look. And what I like to do, at least while I've just got piano only, is I'll normally duplicate this bass note an octave lower just to give me kind of like a left hand kind of thing that we've got. And so I knew that that was going to be the main chord progression that carries throughout the entire song, just because to me that kind of, it has the movement that she wanted, I think, and it's got potential to add, you know, some hip hop and some R&B elements, but it's also super simple and pop driven. And with the tempo, we've got a lot of potential to just kind of make this an upbeat dark pop song. So let's check it out one more time, and then we'll hop into the outro and we'll head into video 2. Cool, so I'm really happy with that chord progression. Awesome, so we hopped into Cubase, we got a chord progression that I think I'm really happy with, and now we just really have to use that chord progression to utilize the song. So I think the chords kind of embody the tone that she wanted in the record, so now we really just have to focus on sound design and then like adding percussion, adding rhythm, and starting to develop a track. So now that we've got the basic chords, in the next video, we're actually going to start working on verse 1, which is where we'll start doing some sound design, we'll start messing with some percussion, we'll even start to, you know, maybe come up with like a lead melody and stuff to add on top. But for this video, I really just wanted to kind of establish how the song kind of came to fruition, the, you know, basic idea behind it, because at the end of the day, a song really is just the chords, the rhythm, and the vocals, and then everything else is super subjective. So I really just wanted to hop in and show you how we got the initial chord progression, but now I think it's actually time to dive into some of the production.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting, and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.